All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday evening Parent Academy webinar sessions. Thank you for joining us, and we are so excited to have you in the audience as listeners and participants for today's webinar. I am Dr. Dre Graham, the Director of Educational Equity and Outreach for Alachua County Public Schools, and I welcome you tonight. Tonight, we will receive some helpful information about Take Stock in Children, college degrees, and financial aid from our guest speaker, Meg McKenzie of the Education Foundation of Alachua County. Just before we get started, let's review a few housekeeping elements. Please keep your microphones on mute through the duration of the presentation. We'll be monitoring your questions and will respond accordingly. Please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your webinar window. And please note that all Parent Academy webinars are closed captioned, recorded, and posted to our website for access at a later date, for re-review, and for any individuals who cannot tune in live tonight. Your questions will be answered at the conclusion of the session. If there's a specific need to have a personal conversation, the Parent Academy email is parentacademy@gm.sbac.edu. Send it there and we will get those questions or to your request for additional information forwarded to the correct ACPS or community team member. And now, I would like to present our guest speaker for this evening, Ms. Meg McKenzie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Graham. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to tell you a little bit about who I am before I jump into the presentation. So, as you know, my name is Meg. I am a student services coordinator for the Education Foundation of Alachua County. I am pretty new in this role. I'm about to hit my 3 months on October 26th, so that's pretty exciting. I am a graduate of the University of Florida, a first generation student graduate. For anyone that's not aware of what a first generation student is, it means that you're the first in your family to go to college, meaning that either mom or dad or either parent does not have a bachelor's degree. So I started off going to Seminole State College in Orlando, Florida, or in the Orlando area, I should say. And then I transferred over to the University of Florida. I'm going to try to embed some of my personal experiences with financial aid as a college student during the presentation. So you'll hear a little more about kind of my experiences throughout the presentation. All right, so we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so a little bit about just what we'll be talking about tonight. So I'm going to tell you about the Education Foundation and what we do, what we're about. Let's see. Next, we'll talk a little bit just about post-secondary credentials, financial aid, about our Take Stock in Children program, how to apply to take stock, and then also mentoring with Take Stock as well. So some of our goals with Take Stock are to provide students with college scholarships, Florida prepaid scholarships in particular. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. We're also aiming to reduce educational disparities, and we're doing that by supporting teachers through classroom grants. We have grants called Catalyst for Change. And then we also offer professional development opportunities to teachers. And overall, we want to invest in the future of all Alachua County public school students. And just to give an example of how we're doing that, we just led 2 field trips for Howard Bishop Middle and Lincoln Middle students to learn about medical professions in Gainesville. So going back to just the Education Foundation and what we do, we have a few different programs. One, we have our senior scholarships. This is an application that you apply to and you are eligible for over 60 different scholarships. You'll hear more about that a little later. And then Catalyst for Change, It's our grant for teachers. And then we have our program Take Stock in Children. Okay, so when your student goes to college, they can either get a college diploma, they could get a 2-year degree, so either an associate's of arts, that I blanked for a second, and then also an associate's of science. Your student could also get a certificate, which would require less time than a 4-year degree. They could get a license of some sort, maybe like a real estate license. They could do an apprenticeship. There's also the military as well. And we did want to point out these programs, of course, can be expensive. So you want to try to get as much financial aid as you can. So on to financial aid. First, what is financial aid? So financial aid is money provided to students to help pay for either college or university, wherever your student decides to go. And to give you an example, Santa Fe would be considered a college, and then the University of Florida would be considered university, and so on. So tuition and fees, I'm trying to get ahead of myself a little bit. Books, supplies, room and board, and the student's cost of living can all be covered by financial aid, but not all financial aid will cover the second bullet you see right here. So there are 3 different types of financial aid. One, we've got grants, such as the Pell Grant. 2, loans, and 3, we've got scholarships. But your best bet really overall is to go for those grants and then scholarships. So we'll talk a bit about those. So cost of attendance. We're going to look at this chart from Santa Fe. We've got information about students living off campus, and then information about students living with parents. And I do want to mention that, as you see right here, this is an estimate. So I don't want you to look at these numbers and think, oh my gosh, like it is an estimate. It does depend on what the students' needs are, what their lifestyle is, how they prefer if they prefer to ride the bus, or if they prefer to buy textbooks or rent them. You can kind of save money in different areas. But here's a breakdown of the budgets down here with living off campus at Santa Fe, and then living with parents going to Santa Fe. So next we'll look at the University of Florida. So on campus, and then living with parents. And again, that estimated budget. So as you see, University of Florida is of course more expensive than Santa Fe. But going back to what I mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation, to get a really great bang for your buck, it's a great idea to first think of maybe having your student going to Santa Fe for their first 2 years of college, having them get their general requirement classes completed, and then transferring over to UF or FSU, or maybe even UCF. Okay, so a little bit more about financial aid. When you fill out your FAFSA application, which is coming out in December of this year, we just don't know quite when yet. They haven't released the date. You'll get an aid package where they'll outline how much financial aid your student is being offered. And so When you do get this financial aid offer, it can either be through a letter on paper, or it's going to be online. I know when I was in college, I always found out how much financial aid I got, all electronic. All is based all electronically. So, and thank you everyone for bearing with me. I'm kind of moving around windows as I'm moving from each slide. All right, so financial aid programs. We have grants such as the Pell Grant. Pell Grant is based on family income levels. So for example, we have the Pell Grant is a very popular federal grant. And for the Pell Grant, I can speak from experience. It really is awesome. I know for my first 2 years at Seminole State College, which is the state college, my Pell Grant paid for all of my classes, which was super awesome and gave me the opportunity to then use that saved money at the University of Florida. So next, we've got scholarships. There's Bright Futures. There's a whole bunch of scholarships online. There's also federal work study. When you fill out your FAFSA application, it should tell you if your student is eligible for work study or not, and they'll tell you how many hours your student is eligible to work. Work study can also be either on campus or off campus. It's a great way to make a few extra bucks to help you cover the cost of college. And then next, we've got our student loans, which some do accrue interest over time. So if you do choose to go the student loan route, you just want to be mindful of if the loans will have interest or not, and when that interest will kick in. Okay, so now we're moving on to the FAFSA. So FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is required for federal aid programs and other financial aid programs as well. And then as stated earlier, it is going to open in December, possibly December 1st. We will see. All we know is that the FAFSA creators are telling us it'll definitely be out in December. And when it comes out, you want to apply for it as soon as possible, because that's going to maximize the amount of financial aid money you receive, along with various other factors as well. And you do want to update your school code, which is that college school code that your college has, to ensure that you receive your state financial aid. So FAFSA is all done online, and you add in your college's code, and then you also have a specific login for the FAFSA as well. Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to the FFAA. This is a different application than the FAFSA. So the FFAA is required for state aid programs. So for example, if your student wants to take part in Florida Bright Futures, they're going to have to apply or fill out that FFAA application. And as of October 1st, it is open. So you're able to go in now and get that FFAA application started. And it does have to be completed August 31st of your student's high school graduation year. So with your student graduating in next year of 2024, The FFAA application will have to be completed by August 31st. But I would recommend to get it done, I would say even earlier in August. June and July are really great as well. And this application that with the FFAA does only need to be completed once. Okay, so Bright Futures. Here's just a breakdown of Bright Futures, what scores, oops, sorry about that, what scores are needed here for Bright Futures. A volunteer service is needed for Bright Futures as well. And there's a different breakdown here depending on the type of Bright Futures that you need. Okay, so part of Bright Futures is the Gold Seal Vocational Scholars. And so what you would do with this is well, I shouldn't say what you would do with this. This is a specific Bright Futures program for students in a single career and technical education program. And then just like that slide that we saw previously, there is a breakdown of the ACT and SAT scores that are required for Bright Futures. Okay, and then we have the Gold Seal CAPE Scholars. So students who are enrolled in a career education or certificate program can qualify for this Gold Seal CAPE Scholarship. All right, and I know I'm kind of moving a little quick through the Bright Futures. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about Take Stock in Children. Okay, so next, you heard me mention senior scholarships at the very beginning. These are a bank of scholarships through the Education Foundation. And we partnered with community partners to award these scholarships. So this year, over 60 students will be awarded with over $130,000 worth of financial aid in the form of scholarships. So a little bit about what students have to do to be eligible or to apply to senior scholarships. First, they have to answer just a general questionnaire asking just some general academic and financial aid information. Next, they'll upload a personal resume. We'll also need a letter of recommendation from a teacher, guidance counselor, community leader, someone that knows you and your accomplishments well. And then there is a short essay as well. And you can see the prompts down here. And we do recommend to make sure your student follows the directions very closely with these scholarships and apply as soon as possible. Don't hold off because these senior scholarships are a really, really great opportunity to get your students some money for college. All right. So some additional scholarship information. You definitely want to research early, see all that's out there with scholarships, because there truly is just so many scholarships. Just to give you an example, if anyone is familiar with Rover, that pet sitting service, they even have a scholarship, which is pretty great. So you also just want to check often, see if maybe there are new scholarships you might have passed up or new scholarships that came out. And something very, very, very important too, you want to make sure that these scholarships you're looking at are legit, because there are, of course, scams out there. Scholarships shouldn't be asking you to pay to fill out an application. And if any scholarships guarantee you will get aid, you'd want to be skeptical of that as well. And of course, do not ever give out any credit card or banking information while applying to a scholarship. So, some scholarship websites. I won't go through all of them, but I'll list a couple. There's fastweb.com, scholarships.com, the US Department of Labor's Career One Stop is also a really awesome resource. To find that, you would just type in exactly what is here, US Department of Labor's Career One Stop. And then this last bullet here, Going Merry is another scholarship website, and they've actually partnered with Seminole County schools to match students with both local and national scholarships as well. And there are other scholarship websites as well. We just wanted to provide a few that are out there. Okay, so moving on to Take Stock in Children. Here is our little introduction slide. So our slogan for Take Stock is scholarships, mentors, and hope. So going over a quick overview of what Take Stock in Children is. It is a scholarship and mentoring program aimed to support low-income students in thriving before college and then thriving in college as well. So when students come into the program, they're paired with a mentor, which is a person that's in the community. We background check them as well to make sure that they are all good to go to support our students. And then they're also paired up with a college success coach. So we have three. I was about to say we have 4 college success coaches, but I would be talking about somebody that doesn't exist. So we have 3 college success coaches. We have Kim, Sean, and Kirby, our wonderful college success coaches, and they meet with students throughout the school year to make sure that they're on track, they're getting ready for college, and that they're also doing well, and that they're in their classes and that they're supported. So what are the different components of the program? So we have that mentoring, our college success coaching as well. And then we also have events or workshops for the students, such as financial aid information. And we also provide seniors with a senior workshop as well that includes information about ACT and SAT and how to prepare for them, along with financial aid information in that senior workshop, and then as well as at our financial aid night.
Hey Meg, can we
Yes,
pause there for a moment? We have 2 questions in the Q&A.
definitely.
And so the first, well, now we have 3 questions. But the first one is, what is the process and deadline for Bright Futures?
That is a great question. I will be completely honest. I am not as knowledgeable about Bright Futures as I am about the senior scholarships. Tia, do you know by any chance the process and deadline?
Yeah, so you want to make sure you're turning in your community service hours throughout your senior year, and making sure you're getting those community service hours in if you're planning to get to the 100 and get Bright Futures. And then of course wanting to make sure you keep your GPA up. And then once you have reached senior year, your school counselors will be putting that information in throughout the year, and then Bright Futures will pull it, but you want to fill out the Florida financial aid application, because that's what they're going to use to check and make sure that you're eligible. So I would say you can complete that, you know, anytime between now, if you're in your senior year, until August 31st. So there is a big gap in between there, because the reason why is because they're not really going to be able to check your eligibility until you graduate in June of your graduating year. But your first step is to fill out that application so they know that you want to be in the pool for it. And then the second step is to be you know, checking in with your guidance counselor and making sure that they have all of your information, so that all your qualifying information that's needed.
Thanks for that, Tia. The next question, and these all pertain to the same thing, which this was just a perfect stopping point. So that's why we'll just go ahead and knock all these out. The next question was, is there a one-stop site for all these resources that has all the resources mentioned and that have been vetted?
Another great question, definitely. So what I would suggest, the U.S. Department of Labor's Career One Stop, that is a great resource to use. It might not have all of the resources, but it should have a good bit of them. And then also Going Merry is also a great one, especially since they are partnered with the school board of Alachua County. They are someone you can trust as well. Tia, do you have anything that you would recommend for that at all?
The only thing I will say is, like, at the end of this presentation will be our contact information. So if you want to take a screenshot of that and reach out to Meg or I, we'd be happy to share this PowerPoint presentation with you. And then of course it's going to be live on the Parent Academy website moving forward, so you can always go back and view it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And then the last question, can parents contact the college success coaches directly?
Awesome. So instead of contacting the college success coaches directly, what I would recommend is to email me your question and see if I could assist you and connect you with college success coaches. All right.
Yeah, you can keep going, Meg. We're good now.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for the questions. Okay. So going back to our overview of Take Stock, the students also have access to a student services coordinator as well. I'm someone that plans the events, facilitates them, and then this is a very important piece. I help students with scholarship information, seeing how much of their scholarship they have left and whatnot. And then, of course, at the end of our program, if you graduate successfully with us and complete the program, students will receive a 2-year Florida prepaid scholarship, which includes 60 credit hours. Okay, so a little bit about how Take Stock in Children works. So we accept students from 6th grade to 9th grade. And the students, as mentioned earlier, they come from low-income backgrounds because we do want to help students break that cycle of poverty. And then we pair them with a mentor who supports them with college readiness, along with their college success coach as well. So in the end, we're hoping to get them ready for college and then also get them prepared for the workforce as well. So here's just a little breakdown of high school graduation. Here in green, you'll see non-take stock students who are at risk, that their percentage of graduation is 57%. You'll see the Florida average is 76% with high school graduation. And then over here in this teal color are the take stock in children students, are our program participants, and we have a really amazing 96% high school graduation rate. And so overall, our support that we give the students through college success coaching, our events, and through their mentors really helps our students reach graduation and helps them to move along to college and so forth. Okay, so just a few statistics for you. In the school year 2022 to 2023, 280 students were served, and a wonderful 57 seniors graduated in 2023. Over here to the right, you'll see Kalisha. She graduated from Buchholz High School. And then $1,435,141 in total scholarships were received for these students. So around 65 new students are accepted annually, and currently we need 12 mentors needed for our existing students. This number might not be quite as updated. I believe the number is about 10 or so at the moment. That's a number we're always watching, how many students need mentors, because of course we always want students to be paired up with a mentor since it is such an impactful part of our program. And maybe some of you might even want to be mentors. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell you how you could become a mentor if interested. But I'll tell you a little bit about that a bit later on. So who should apply to take stock in children and how? So just again, running through the benefits of take stock in children. Students, if they do successfully graduate, or not graduate and complete our program, they will get that 2-year Florida prepaid scholarship. They'll have access to a wonderful college success coach, and then they'll have a mentor as well that they'll meet with throughout the school year. And these meetings are always at school, never off campus. There's also those workshops, and then we give a great deal of financial assistance as well. So you might be wondering, well, who is eligible? So number one, your student has to be in either 6th through 9th grade in a Alachua County public school, and be eligible for a free and reduced lunch, or meet our eligibility income guidelines. These can be found on our website. Your student also has to have a 2.5 GPA or higher. And then we also monitor attendance at school, behavior, and then we also ask the students to remain drug and crime free as well to keep their scholarship. Okay, so our applications will become available November 1st of this year. They're going to be available both virtually, and then we'll have physical copies as well. And these can both be found on our website, which is right here, down here, and then we'll also have a QR code on the very last slide for today. So I mentioned the income eligibility guidelines, and it does vary based on household size. And so if you are interested in applying for Take Stock, this is a great thing to look for to see, am I eligible? And if you have any questions about this at all, please do reach out to me or feel free to ask questions during the webinar. Okay, so moving on to our recruitment timeline, just to give you an idea of what our recruitment process is like. So we're going to be sending out applications to the different Alachua County Public Schools starting on November 1st. We're going to have a program application review night at Howard Bishop on November 14th. And then this is a big date. Application deadline is December 1st. So if your student is interested in Take Stock in Children, the application deadline is December 1st. For students to be welcomed into the program, we do have to interview them. This is a very laid back interview. We just want to get to know them, see what their goals are. And so we will be interviewing at both the middle school and the high schools between January 22nd and February 1st. And then selections will take place February 8th. And once we have those selections, we will notify both the families and the students, and we have a contract signing celebration with mentors where students are able to meet their mentors for the first time on May 16th. And then you might be wondering, well, when would students start meeting with their mentors? They would start meeting with them when the school year starts in August. Okay, so we always love for families to be involved and not just have the student involved. So some responsibilities of the families of Take Stock program participants would be to communicate with TSIC, Take Stock in Children, as needed. Always encourage you to reach out whenever you need support, have questions. You're also always welcome to attend workshops. Some workshops are for students, and you might not get out as much as they would, but you are always welcome to attend to learn the information as well. And then sometimes, if needed, we do have meetings with families as well. And then, of course, we would encourage you to support your student throughout the program and to support them to do well in school and beyond. Okay, so mentoring. So to tell you a little bit about Take Stock mentoring and how you can get involved as a mentor. So you can sign up at any time throughout the year. And these mentors meet bi-weekly at their student school. And so these mentors serve as a role model, friend, coach, and advocate. There really isn't a certain script you have to go off of. It's more just of letting the conversation and relationship flow naturally. So you might support your student with homework, or maybe you'll talk with them about an issue they're having with their friend. Really, the mentor's roles are to support the students with life overall and whatever comes up during those sessions. as long as, of course, it is appropriate and in the realm of supporting the student and their education and making sure that they're receiving the best support possible. So our mentors are trained as well. They have videos that they watch to make sure that they're prepped and know what is okay and what is not okay. We also provide a mentor toolkit, which provides ideas of what to talk about, along with other support resources to make sure that the mentors are supported as well. And so these meetings with the mentor and mentee are during lunch periods. And for mentors, you also have the opportunity of hosting a group mentor session. So these are virtual sessions, 1 hour long, and you can talk about a topic that interests you. For example, we had somebody talk about manatees and how manatees need our support. So really kind of a broad list of things you could talk about during those group mentor sessions. And of course, for more information about becoming a mentor with us, you can go to our website at edfoundationac.org, or you could reach out to me for more information and I could connect you with our mentor coordinator. And down here, we've just got a quote from one of our first year mentors about how their experience has been being a mentor. All right, so as I said a little earlier as well, please feel free to reach out to either me or Tia, who is helping to answer the questions tonight. I'm always happy to answer any questions and help however I can. I also included our executive director's contact down here in case you have questions about the Education Foundation as a whole. So we've made it to our last slide. We definitely encourage you to keep in touch with us. Here's a QR code to our website where you can learn more about senior scholarships, Take Stock in Children, our program, Catalyst for Change, that teacher grant program that we have, and more as well. We also do have an Instagram as well, if you want to check us out there as well. You should be able to find us by typing in the Education Foundation of Alachua County. All right, well, I would love to answer any questions if anybody has any.
So we'll take a few more questions. If we've got any additional ones, please once again put them into the Q&A and we will be sure to get to them. So we'll wait a little bit. Thank you so much, Meg, for being here, and Tia. We honor the relationship that we continue to have with between Alachua County and the Education Foundation, and all the support that you provide.
Definitely, thank you. And I want to say I'm
Yeah,
super happy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm super happy to be here tonight.
Absolutely.
But
I was
here are
asking
the
to go back to the
contacts,
contacts.
Rob.
Yes, great.
There you go. How can we get a copy of the presentation? And you're welcome, Rob, no problem. I could email it out to you. And if you could also, I'm away from my desk currently, and I want to make sure I do get the copy of the presentation to you. If you could go ahead and send me an email, that would be wonderful. I could get that to you next week.
We'll wait a little bit longer for any additional questions. All right, and seeing no more questions, I want to thank again Megan, Tia from the Alachua County Education Foundation for being here with us tonight and providing such incredible information. Thanks again to everyone for joining tonight's Zoom. We appreciate your participation each week that you are available to connect with us for more informative presentations and discussions. Once again, I'm Dr. Dre Graham, the Director of Educational Equity for Alachua County Public Schools. Next week, we look forward to seeing you back here Thursday, October 26th, where we will be joined by the Cook Center, who will provide information on what parents need to know about suicide prevention. We hope you'll join us again. Have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.